Oh yeah.
I always thought that if you hold the pipeline, that would be but that's a whole year working on it. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. Again, that I don't want to build this content. I just feel like I would have had a perspective. I'm going to rate it a little bit, and I never felt that this bringing it forward, it's not different than that it was. You end up taking the one and I use it. What's the action next to? Yeah, we'll talk about like a mini version of you. Mini, yeah. Well, but mini and That's true. I know. I was like, it's funny because I tell people, you always joke with myself. You always talk to everybody. Yeah, because for me, the height doesn't come from here. And then you got to take a side. That's what I'm
So it's like, okay, do it right now. If you get it today, do but it's we don't really maybe like, okay, if they machine goes down, they have another one.
Welcome to the Agents in Production Hackathon! Woo! Welcome to what is in part an experiment in the creation of the hackathon. A hackathon where every person's project is demoed not by the creator, but by the user of an agent that is in production. We have all been familiar with the issues that agents run into in prod. The experience a user has when the agent works 50% of the time, 75% of the time, or when you're trying to scale up and you're hitting rate limits and all of a sudden you have to introduce totally new infrastructure and create a process for recalling your LLM because in the context where it's failing, your app is coming down. The intention here is to ship these apps to production and deal with all of the complexities that come with that. So first and foremost, welcome to AGI House. My name is Jeremy. This is the second AGI House I've started, and in part, we're joined by some Japanese friends at Softbank in the hope that we might be able to start some similar cultural movement in Japan. But the intention here is really to engage in a spirit of incredible creative action, where you can have an idea here and now, step up on the stage just like I am, give a brief lightning talk, and maybe someone in this crowd will join you in creating something fantastic. At our second hackathon, Arvind Srinivas was working on this Twitter search tool. He launched it to production, to be clear, and it was a SQL setup for some tweets. And it turned into Perplexity, something which is akin to a truth river, and I guess I'll be building a project today that's akin to it. But the intention is really to say, the idea that you have today could become a $9 billion company tomorrow. And so do take this as a really precious opportunity to inhabit your most creative and ambitious self for the day. So a few announcements. So the first is our wonderful speakers. So we'll be having Kenichi Nonomura, who's representing a team at Softbank, and you'll hear a little bit about the future of Japanese knowledge work. We all know that there are so many knowledge work pipelines, from messaging, sending emails, to the coding workflows that we've been using agents for all the time, which can be optimized by agents in prod, and we'll hear a little bit about that. And Philip is also here from Restack, and he has basically been robustifying agentic pipelines with tons of agent companies. So he'll show you how to use Restack to make sure that for every single user of your product, the call goes through, you have no issues with rate limits, you have no issues with needing to create your own recall infrastructure and basically ensure that the products that you build are robust. And so I'm looking forward to basically co-creating a lot of these projects with us. After the talks, we will invite you to come pitch your own project. And so do be thinking about what you could be putting into production at the end of the night. I cannot wait to use all of your products. So let's first of all hear it for the creative instincts in you all and for Kenichi Nonomura, Softbank. Let's go.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah. So I know Jeremy is the speaker, but I'm actually really here to tee up the stars of the Softbank team today. And so 6 of us are here from Japan today. Thank you for having us. And half of us are part of the consultancy helping Taku's team. So myself, Jan, and Renjin over there are supporting. But really the stars of this trip is really Taku, Kazuki, and Yohei, who are standing here. They are the 3 from Softbank. It is a kind of an incredible story, so I did want to quickly share that with you guys. So one day, Taku is basically an influencer around AI in Japan, which is still a very early community. And they were working on a startup. Masayoshi Son, I don't know if everybody knows him, basically the biggest tech investor in Japan, reaches out to him on Twitter and then calls him in for a meeting, and then after which basically he entrusts these 3 with a whole division with quite a large budget to launch an AI agent product very soon. So that's why they're here. They are working on this product. They've been working on that since this April and hoping to launch something very soon. But it is their first time in the Bay and really being exposed to the culture here and also building a lot of networks. And that's also the purpose of this trip. The team is really hoping to meet everybody here, make connections, potentially some business connections as well, and synergies. So I hope that you get to meet them over the course of the day. For me, I'm going to pass over to Taku and the team, who will be sharing a little bit of what they're doing, and also a bit of a demo of their product. Okay, Taku.
Thank you. This is Taku from Japan. I'm from Softbank. Nice to meet you guys. I need to say sorry before I begin because we are not good at speaking English in sometimes. So please forgive us if we use wrong English or something. But we will do in full power in this PowerPoint. Okay, so let us do the self-introduction, and also we'd like to introduce Sato. As you can see, Sato means like doing something rapidly. So, okay, let's begin. So we this is our team introduction. This is Takahiro. I mainly do business things, and we have Kazuki Tajima and Yohei Tsuji. They are going to do a demonstration later. So, and as Ken-san mentioned, it seems like previous life, but actually I'm still influencer now. I do have 29K followers on Twitter and also 12K followers on YouTube. So maybe you can follow me later. And if all of you guys follow me, maybe it's gonna be 30K, I hope. So please don't forget to do that. Okay, and yeah, somehow I was invited by Mr. Son one day. Suddenly, I was just doing hackathon in myself and just showed my innovations on Twitter. And I said, like, we can now go back home without doing overwork or something like this. And somehow Son-san find us, and I presented him. We need to finish those more earlier for Japanese workers, and yeah, and somehow he believed what we believed, and now I'm here. And after that, Son-san is quite interested in Agent of Things. This is the movie of Softbank World, which was called 2 months ago or something in Japan. And he is trying to innovate or maybe invest to those agent things, and trying to do that network system, trying to build it so that people can live more freely with happiness. So this is our very quick history introduction, and now let's begin. So what are we trying to solve? So first of all, Japanese knowledge workers have lots of problems. Because of the high context culture, we need to do a lot of things to build consensus every time. Like for example, I'd like to start something. For example, like I'd like to build AGI house in Japan, and I say that to my boss, and it's gonna be quite how can I say, time costing. So I need to prepare documents, I need to prepare presentations or something like that, and do that for every guys who will be related to this project. This is quite lazy to do that. And because of that kind of issue, not only us, for everyone has such similar situation. So that makes people stressed and overworked and unhappy. This is our main point we are trying to solve. And I believe that the world could be more nicer, of course. And especially I am interested in how the capitalism system goes. And now I believe the world that everyone can thrive, not just those with abilities that fit traditional, let me say, traditional capitalism systems. And generative AI is bringing innovation, and it has some potential to change and equalize the abilities for everyone. So this is where Sato comes in, and Sato is like a service redefining task completion process. And for the Gen AI era, we say. So this is like, let me show you a bit concept of product. So first of all, we have Japanese workers better understand structure and execute their workflows. So we are trying to prepare lots of workflows so that they can skip creating documents or presentations or something like that. And also executing some lazy tasks as well. And our key concept, second key concept is that we leverage these LLM features with data aggregation. Like we used to do the iPaaS platform, which means integration platform like Zapier's or maybe DeFi, Stack AI or something like that. So we gather those informations and trying to help things is going to be done quickly. And now this is like just like a simulation, so please don't care much about the number itself. But we are trying to automate around half of tasks, and we are trying to be everyone focused on tasks that people need to do. Okay, and now this is like such suite of products. So we've already deployed. We've already started a service which is called Shortcut, but this is still beta, but maybe I can show you later. And we also have SAT memo. This is like a memo application. And we implemented SAT draft since I came here, which means we built this in 6 days or something. But let us show you. And this is, we are trying to solve lots of tasks. So we are now looking for some frameworks to categorize tasks. And now I'm interested in the framework of GTDs. Do you know that? You know, cool. You do that?
Oh yeah, a huge fraction of the Valley CEOs are running GTD every day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so cool. So I'm trying to do to gather information. We are trying to use subtle memo and to do something in backend world. It may be time consuming. Will be settled with subdraft. And if you do something in real time now, we can use shortcut. This is like the whole picture of what we are trying to do using sub-suite product. So, sorry for letting more boring explanation, but now let's begin the prototyping section. We have 2 speakers from now. So let me give microphone to Yohei.
Hello everyone. My name is Yohei Nisuji. I am product manager of SAT Shortcut. SAT Shortcut is my first product. Today I introduce you SAT Shortcut demo. First, this product's mission is this: popularizing generative AI so that many people can benefit from AI. First, now AI chat with 2 issues. First, people don't know what to use it for. If people shown white canvas and light prompt, it is too difficult. And lighting prompt is difficult and troublesome. That's why we developed such shortcut. People do 2 steps. First, select information, and second is click what do you want. That's it. Not without thinking prompt engineering and SAS integration. Let's demo. The first demo is table to spreadsheet. This demo is itself is not novel to all of you super engineers, but this is sorry. Okay, and but please pay attention to ease of use and experience. This simplicity is crucial for mass adoption. Sorry. Let's demo. Imagine a situation, this information to spreadsheet. Now is copy and paste. Not structured. But you start first. Select information. And select image to table. And paste. Correctly. Yes. It's small step. And second. This is a simple use case, and the second is it contains integration. Please imagine.
Is this your own model, or is this a Restack or OpenAI API or something else?
Sorry.
Is this your own model, or an Anthropic OpenAI multimodal
Oh yeah,
API, or something else?
we are now using OpenAI.
Great.
Yep.
So the interface is really the upside.
Yep.
And this is a Mac.
Yes.
Okay.
For now.
Is it downloadable?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want?
Potentially. Looks like it's Japanese specific.
Oh yeah, but sorry. I guess it is restricted for abroad domain maybe. So we need to change some.
Okay. Second use case is this. Imagine this information, this trip, dummy trip schedule, visits, company and sightseeing spot. This, and I want to insert this information to Google Calendar. Select information. And select what to do. Import schedule to calendar. And this important thing is this workload can be freely customized. For example, change prompt and add integration. This means application, and now Gmail, Google Calendar, Spreadsheet, Notion, and Kasa. There is Google application now. We plan to connect integration more applications. And also we have library, workflow library, and you can share workflow and I created, and you can use workflow someone created. Finally, that is simplest AI agent for majority, and you can use AI simply two steps: select information and select what you want to do, and customize change prompt and integrate many apps, and share your workflow, and you can use quickly with someone created. Let's create skill together and popularize AI with SAT. Thank you for listening.
Let's move to the demonstration of SAT-draft. SAT-draft is the idea we came up with 7 days ago. So please do not pay attention to detailed UI and UX. I made this prototype in 3 or 4 days. Sorry. Okay, before demonstration, let me explain what is SAT-draft. SAT-draft is simple and so powerful to-do list. SAT-draft has 2 main features. First one is easy to add tasks. User can add tasks to desktop, from smartphone, or from approach and something like that, so easily. And second feature is create drafts as you. SAT-draft understand you well. So this can generate so good output. But this is the important thing. Not perfect on this tool, just a draft. SAT-draft create a draft, but not complete task. So this is the important thing, and this is our concept of our product. Okay, let's move to demonstrate. This is the prototype I made in 3 or 4 days. And please imagine you are working on this rack on your desktop. Now, I received a message from my boss. Next week, we will have a hackathon on Web3, so please make sure to prepare the material for it as usual. When I recognize the task, select the text. Then, the so cute icon will appear on the right side. Select the text. So cute icon appears. Okay, let's click. After clicking the icon, the task form to a task is appeared on the bottom right. The task title is generated automatically by generative AI. Yeah, let's click add task. Okay, that's it. What did I have to do? I added the task from background task list. Not only desktop, I can add tasks from my approach. Click the shortcut. Please create agenda for tomorrow's meeting. Okay, that's it. But what I have to do. Not only Apple Watch, I can add tasks from icon shortcut, double tap. Wait. Double tap, screenshot up automatically, and task is generated in background. Okay, let's show the task list. This is the task list I added before. The top 3 tasks I added earlier. Open the task. This task is preparing materials for Web3 Hackathon, and the task is executed in the background by automatically by AI. Now working, so please just a minute. Okay. Let's see. Okay, like this. This SAT-draft can generate a draft of presentation. So the task is preparing materials for hackathon. And this SAT-draft understand your background, Gmail or Slack, what Microsoft Teams, something like that. Find the best match slides from our presentation I made before. So, sorry. Okay. This is our concept of creating draft. When users want to edit this presentation, click this icon, open with Google Slide. User can edit this draft from in the Google Slide application, native application. This is our concept, just creating a draft. Okay, summarizing. Sorry. We finally summarize our third draft. Third draft is simple and powerful to do list. This has two features: easy to add tasks and creating draft as you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it from Softbank team, sub team. And please reach out to us for feedback, and maybe we can connect with X. As I mentioned, this is QR code for my X account. And we are also interested in some investments and acquisitions as well. So that we, as I mentioned, our concept is to gather lots of like LLMs or maybe APIs or something like that, so that we can gather those high-tech solutions and proactively give that solution to the Japanese workers without thinking for them. So we are also interested in those. And also, as you can see, if you'd like to join us in working in with us in Japan, so we will somehow prepare houses or something like that so that you can work in Japan as well. So if you are interested in that, please let us know. That's it. So thank you for listening.
So real quick, raise your hand if you're currently running a company. Okay. So Softbank, look around if you're interested in chatting with any of these friendly founders. Some of the story for acquisitions. Any questions or these folks? Yes.
So do you plan to make an English version at some point?
Yes, of course. That's why we are here.
Yeah. So tonight you have an English version?
Okay.
Is that the idea?
Let us try.
Claim to be a great hacker.
Yeah.
Use
Let's
AI
see.
to translate.
Oh yeah, indeed. Because we have 8 hours or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We may do that. That's right.
Do your tasks work on only browser, or does it work on desktop?
Desktop.
Anything on the desktop?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Because Japanese companies are not good at using cloud services still. So it's funny, but yeah. So we need to do that in desktop.
May I ask one more question?
Yes, of course.
So when I add a workflow, how do you make sure it works? Like if you have many people building workflows,
Yeah.
how do you make sure they're not adding stupid buttons that don't actually do the thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I guess some other iPaaS tools are still facing some kind of similar issues maybe. But in our approach, to upload to the marketplace, we do test and check if there is any like dangerous connection or something like that. So we check it, and if the workflow passes that, then user can install that from our marketplace. That's one approach. And also we are trying to prepare the function to export the workflow so that they can import not from the marketplace, like directly to people. We can't avoid any risks in this approach, so I'm still wondering, but we allow them to do that. That's what we are planning now. Thank you.
So when the user do a screenshot, is the data of that screenshot going to a cloud offering, or can you process everything on the desktop app, on the machine, for example, with a small LLM, or Or does it go to your cloud and then to OpenAI? Or how does that work?
Oh, yeah. Architecture, sorry, maybe we can answer you in detail later, but our main now it is on cloud. Yeah, so for the desktop, it's just like a UI and UX improvement.
Okay.
And backend is on cloud.
But
as you know, Japanese like traditional companies are quite being careful about
they don't like it.
So we need to, because we are implementing Japanese LLM in Softbank, so we need to do somehow the same functionalities using local LLM, using those Softbank intuitions model.
Oh, so does that mean that, for example, if it's in Japanese text, you don't use OpenAI, you use your own LLM?
Maybe. But it totally depends on the performance of.
Of course.
I shouldn't say that in front of my boss. Yeah, because we need to take care of users' mind. So I don't want to sell Japanese LLM even though it's bad quality.
Agree.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic to bring in some Japanese ones. Okay, up next with Philippe Brûlé, the CTO of Restack. So Restack is a product which will allow your agents to be much more robust. They have the ability to deal with rate limits. I'm just going to do a quick survey. Raise your hand if you've ever been rate limited on an LLM API. Okay, cool. This is like half of the room has run into this situation. So I was scaling up a book gen. So this is like library that you see next to you is generated by our AI product, and we were building this out, and immediately hit these really intense rate limits because we wanted to introduce parallelism so that the book generation process would be super fast. And I had the opportunity to network into a friend who knew the guy who was at OpenAI who was modulating rate limits. And so on this email thread, our customers were going over a production tool, and this guy just changed everything. He just flipped the number internally, and suddenly all of our calls went through like nothing else. And we built this complex routing stack through to Claude, through to like a secondary provider, and you could just had someone at OpenAI press a button. You are now introduced to that button. It's the founder of Restack. So let's hear it for the future of robustness in
Oh no, it's in my machine. It's just code.
Oh, okay.
No worries. Can I? Okay guys, so thank you for the intro, it's beautiful. So I'm Philippe, I'm originally from France. I've been living in Berlin, Germany before I just moved here. I moved like 6 weeks ago, so it's super exciting for me to be here. I'm the founder and CTO of Restack. So Restack.io, it's an open source framework for building AI workflows that are reliable and scalable and accurate. We've been working on this technology for the last 2 years and a half, something like that. And over the last 6 months, we have very high scale AI products, like mainly like you would see like there's use cases where on video or customer service or personal assistance and sales. And all the CTOs that we talked to ended up kind of building in-house the same type of capability. And we thought it would be a really, really good opportunity for us to make a open source libraries in, so today it's in TypeScript and Python, but we will add more language all the time. So I don't want to do much of a presentation. I'm technical, I want to hack too. So what I did for you is, if you go on Restack.io and there is that agents in prod hackathon on the homepage, you'll see that I made a documentation with a repo, and I made a video of how to run through that repo. And I just want to show you what's in that repo, how does it work, as an example. So, let's see. So, I did it in TypeScript and Python, but for the sake of the demo, I made my lab. I know really well TypeScript. I've been rediscovering Python for the last couple of months. I used to do Python like 15 years ago. But for this, I did it in Python. It's in, so if you go to this link here, quick start, you'll see some examples Python production demo. And what I want to show you is how does Restack work? First is, you would write a function, so I don't have any opinion on how you write code. You just write your code the way you want. Right? So for example here, I import the OpenAI SDK, and I have on my Mac, I have LM Studio running with the Llama 3.2 model. So I get that API endpoint. Yeah? And I just ask it to generate stuff from a prompt. So there's no abstraction like LangChain or Foo or a new agent. No. This is you write in Python your code, and the only thing that you get from Restack is this decorator. So you just add the add function decorator on top of your Python function. And out of that, you get some really cool benefits. The first benefit you get is you can create workflows. So in that case, you do from Restack workflow, you just define a workflow, and you can do steps. So I import the function, this is an error work function, this is a generate function. So I do first step, call that function. Second step, wait. So you can do sleep, like for example, if you do, send an email after 7 days. So it will sleep for 7 days and then execute the next function. And it doesn't use any CPU or memory or resources while it's waiting. And then the second step starts where you generate whatever. I could generate a random joke, for example. So the cool thing is, so I write my function the way I want, then I can just import that function in a workflow and add multiple steps. I do poetry run dev to run my functions and workflows, and they are waiting for the Restack engine, like the queue system. And I would just run, for example, a poetry run workflow. And the cool thing is you also get a really cool UI that runs on your machine. Everything is open source, so you can deploy it wherever you want. Right? And you will see that the example workflow does these two steps. So hello world, and then goes to generate. I guess. And disconnected. Let's start this. What did I do? Oh. Because I'm talking to my parents. changed IP because of connecting here on the Wi-Fi. So this generate function is here. No? Is that the reason? Machine? It's weird. Doesn't matter. No demo effect. I'll show you what happens. I'm in the video. I don't want to waste too much of your time, so we can start coding. So, like I said, you write your function, and then you get in the UI the ability to see the execution of your functions. And then if for some reason the API you talk to have a problem, it will retry automatically with exponential backup, and you don't have to care about that. And then what I wanted to show you is on the repo, you can run it on your machine. Instead of running one workflow, I go and execute hundreds of these in parallel. Let me show you. So let me tell you about the problem. So the problem is when you start going into production, right? So when you have a workflow that has first a code and second step an LLM code and an LLM code, let's say you do 50 workflows of this in parallel. So that means you have 2 LLM calls times 50, so 100 calls that happen. Let's say you have 10 users. So then that's 1,000 calls to that LLM endpoint, right? So you're gonna have to figure out rate limits. So I need to make a Celery or a RabbitMQ for the test queue, or I need to make a middleware that is between my backend and the API. And with Restack, you don't have to do it. So with Restack, what you just do is you say, okay, all of these functions, so you can import your Python function and say all of these, they talk to the same service. And it can have, for example, 1 call per second, and you just do rate limit 1 and max concurrent function run 1. And then it will magically, through our engine, this one cannot access local one. Okay, I'll show you the video. So what it does is, so I have that rate limit, then I run immediately, I just do retrieve scale, so it's just a shortcut for me to do a parent workflow that execute in parallel 50 workflows, and you see them going on my machine, like all these LLM calls, and you see all the workflows getting created in parallel. And the magic is, you see on the right, you get each of each child workflow, they get queued automatically. So things get slower, but they never break down. So people are running with Restack millions of AI workflows every day, because what you get is through the orchestration, you see that, oh, this LLM generate got queued for 12 seconds. This one got queued for 5 seconds. This one got queued for 200 milliseconds. Everything gets queued up. You just have to define one. Okay, these are all my functions that talk to Entropy. These are all my functions that talk to Notion. These are all my functions that talk to Slack. And you know the rate limit, so you just write the rate limit. Then you can run any amount of workflows in parallel. You can deploy that on Kubernetes. It can scale horizontally. All your containers, they listen to the same engine, and everything gets queued up for you. So you can already run, like on my machine here, I was running like thousands of workflows. They never break down. They're just getting slow because of all these rate limits. Or you can be Jeremy and then talk to OpenAI and say, please bump up my rate limits, right? But at least you have a guarantee that it's super reliable, right? So I'm very sad that I couldn't show you live, but you can speed it up yourself, and you'll see that it's very convenient to work with because you don't have to care about that. You just really focus on your business logics, and then all the queuing will be taken care of for you. So this is what I wanted to show you today, and I made that repo for you to try out, and hopefully maybe some of you will want to build something with Restack that is pretty cool. Today I have $1,000 for the best demo. For if anybody ships something with Restack, I'll be happy to give you some cash. In general, if some of you want to talk more about what's the vision about Restack, one thing that people are doing with Restack is all of this workflow execution, all these like retrials. People build also human in the loop or execution feedback when you run code and then you get the execution feedback. And from all the data and all these workflows, we actually help people build a really good data set to then do reinforcement learning out of all the executions of the workflows, so that they go from an OpenAI, a generic model that probably works like 60% of the time. They finally, so a fine-tuned custom model based on all these things to really increase like the accuracy of their AI workflows. And today it becomes kind of like the standard of how do you go from a prototype that works really well to production. And what I wanted to do is build something that you have that parity of local to production, you code it in your machine, and you have that confidence that when it goes live, it works the same. But also the system itself gathers all the data and prepares all the data set for you to go fine-tune a custom model for your use case that will perform like much better like over time. Yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, just shoot.
Any questions?
Okay, then let's hack again.
So, this is a very brief, we'll say rant, if you will, about the state of agents, the struggles that we have faced as an industry. This is about agents in production. The subtitle is Towards Functional Browser Agents. So here, think multi-on generically browser control. So, even computer users fall into this broader category of computer control. Coding agents, which in my mind are the premier functional agents in that they are making active decisions about what to code next. They're executing on the basis of that decision and it's impacting real-world users. So everything from the suite of code generation for websites, so think WebSim or Lovable or on sides, Replit, all these companies have these functional coding agents, to OpenAI's code interpreter renamed to data analysis, renamed. And Anthropic set up as well. And then finally, research agents. So there are a number of functional demos of research products that are agents in production that are actually working. And in part, I want to talk about just how much the world of agents is this brilliant idea that just hasn't clicked in so many ways. So this is an overview of the market map as of a year ago. Plenty of the companies that are on this map no longer exist. So Adept is a fantastic example of a company that more or less went belly up. He's been struggling. There's just a lot of pain and struggle, and how do we avoid being a part of that of that struggle set is a major question here. And I want to focus on an example of a failure. So think about plugins. So there's this moment in mid-2023 where OpenAI released plugins. Who knows what I'm talking about? Just to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, so with the Japanese folk who may not have been present for it, there was a massive release of all of these tools that we were promised our LLMs would be able to interact with in a flexible way. And this product was met with tons of fanfare. We had a big plugins hackathon. Everyone was building these things. And the product was deprecated 8 months later. So, what went wrong? So the number one issue with agents in production was low reliability. And there's no clear way for the developers to increase that reliability. So you go to use booking API, and it would succeed some small fraction of the time, maybe 20%. The rest of the time, you're just kind of getting vague information. And you don't have enough control over the tool in order to do that. You would be able to use multiple plugins at the same time, but it was also really unclear how to reliably make them work well together. So you want the Wolfram Alpha plugin to do some calculations for some financial plugin that you're using for your bank. This is actually really tricky to do. And basically, for a lot of these projects, it was unclear how to interpret the user's request. So the user would make a request, but it would be very general and ambiguous, and the agentic system would struggle to fill in all of the details of the request from context to context. So in part, I wanted to pitch that someone, ideally here, would create a library for real-world interaction, which was a Python library, so you would have basically access to the way that the AI interacts with the plugins in an API-esque way for all of these projects. So imagine a library. We can say, in Kayak, search. You have a search call. You have a purchase call. Similar story for the Wolfram plugins API, interacting as though you're an AI with this sort of concrete Python call. So those are really interesting examples of ambiguity and struggle. There are also real examples of success. So I'd say code interpreter, where you drop some data into your OpenAI interface and you ask it to generate code that creates, in this case, a plot, is a fantastic example of a task that takes a human a really long time, but if you use this agent, it just saves you 10 minutes, it saves you an hour, where you would have had to write this matplotlib code and refine the details around all of the, is it a histogram, how large should these things be? You can now just control this thing with English, and you don't have to worry about the underlying Python implementation of the library. There's a company called Julius, which is now a unicorn, which basically is just code interpreter as a product. And I actually think your demo is a great example of how you can productize something which already more or less exists, but make it a little bit more convenient to use and tell your user a very specific story about how your particular tool works, and blow up into a unicorn. So I guess a recommendation perhaps for agents in production is just take something that you know works through ChatGPT or through that API, put it into a cleaner or even more specific interface, and just ship that, because your users will know what to expect and can get a guaranteed result from you, where they can't get a guaranteed result elsewhere. Often if there's a UI play over it, like there is with their product, it'll feel more natural and engaging. Anthropic artifacts is another success story. So, Anthropic will condition on your prompt, decide agentically to spin up this sort of sidebar in which it will display the contents of code-generated outputs being executed. And so I think that that's a great paradigm for your agents. So what went right here? Well, in a lot of these cases, they limited the adaptation to code generation. So if you're focused on executing and generating code, you can do really great stuff. And when you execute in the loop with a model that's optimized for correcting the output, so in a lot of cases, the Anthropic model or the OpenAI model will fail on the first attempt. But there's a very clear feedback signal that they've trained a model over. And they can modify their code in the face of that feedback signal to give a correct result. And that dramatically improved the success probability of these agents. So find a context where you can really get a clear feedback signal. And that way your agentic loop can functionally feed back on the output. Real-time, fast environment interaction. So the user doesn't have to wait for 10 minutes for the code gen process to complete. They can actually sit there monitoring it and give quick textual feedback to the setup and say, well, actually, here's what went right, here's what went wrong, and the model can adapt to that fast feedback. So if you're going to put your agent in production, I strongly recommend you have a really simple and easy way for your user to give feedback on a fast agentic process. And for your design process, that might mean taking an agentic process, breaking it down into parts, and just executing one part at a time, and giving the user some visual feedback on that subset of what your agent's done, so they can give you feedback and adapt that process if it's already gone off the rails. This user interaction with CodeGen is really a nice way to manage your user's attention. So one thing that's really important to keep in mind is that as your user is using the product, if they're just watching your agent work, that can become boring quite quickly. So having a process which really cares about the user's attention in its design is very important. And I think one big issue with browser agents is that if you're watching this browser agent act, you feel like you might as well be doing a task. It's going to take just as long as you would have taken to do it. So really think hard about how user interfaces are going to work with your agentic system. And then finally, you should have a clear user mental model of the limitations of the agent. So your user needs to know when they're querying your system, will it work or not? And that can be intuitive, but in a lot of cases, it's your responsibility as the developer to figure out how to tell the user what the system can't do. They should not be trying. And because if they have some sense that it can do anything, and they try to do something overly complicated that you know predictably will fail, this gets messed up. And I guess in your own head as the developer, you have an implicit model of this that your user does not have. So when you're demoing it, you know, oh, I've tried this task and not that task. But actually, it's important that if you're going to put a product out in prod for users, that somehow you communicate to them the limitations of the setup so that it's reliable in terms of their actual experience and not just in terms of its technical capabilities. Yeah, I was going to tell a bunch of stories about how we made this agent in production. It's this research paper writer and like real law professors are debating with AIs that are generating legal briefs. But this is to show that it's possible to build functional book gen agents and research agents, and this library is in parts improved. And it's taking over the future of research. But here are our lessons really. So basically, 99.9+% first step reliability was a requirement for our in production projects. And in the context of building these agents that put together different bits of work, we basically prompt the outputs of the model to tell how to output structure, and then we parse it to guarantee reliability. And so in our case for BookGen, things like chapter titles or repeated outputs were really important. We build up content in parts and then aggregate it. So there are all these situations where your agent could try to do something in one big run, but it's unreliable. It'll work maybe 20% of the time. And if you break your problem down into 4 subproblems, it nails every single subproblem 99.9% of the time. And you have to write some Python code or some stitching code in order to put those pieces together in a deterministic way. And suddenly you have a system go from 20% reliability to 100% reliability. So this showed up in our citation system in this example, but there are all sorts of scenarios that the composition and reliability optimization paradigm of improvement is really helpful. And then run checks on the output of every internal prompt and repeat the generation process until your conditions are fulfilled. So how do you get 99% reliability? Well, have an abstract set of tests to make sure that every aspect of the output that your agent's putting in front of the user is what you expect it to be. And you can recall if need be. But basically, that's how we really hit reliability. There's some other advice here. So chains is preferred to open-ended agents. Who knows what I mean when I say chains? Is that a clear term? Okay, so chaining here just means have a set of prompts that you know and that you've refined be called one after the other. Instead of having the agent at a very abstract level look at the current solution and ask whether or not it fulfills the goal. Because you have intimate control over the prompting scheme, and you can ensure that it fulfills all of the outcomes of interest. And it narrows the sort of scope of how your agent is supposed to do whatever it's being asked to do. So instead of just telling it what the outcome you'd like, you can also tell it how to achieve that outcome in a way that's more granular. And when it messes up, you can go back to the particular prompt that led to the mistake and modify it. So you end up with a lot of control over what the agent's doing. Ideally, you want to be in this fast feedback loop with your environment. So you want to directly control or reliably be able to simulate the environment that the user's using it in, whether it be RAG or whatever. And then certainly, yeah, iterate on specific prompt failure modes. So when you're looking at a prompt inside of your scheme that your agent's executing, it'll fail in predictable ways. And you can go through every particular prompt, look through the outputs with 2 or 3 examples, and just iterate on the failure modes. And then when you put it in production, your user will see some failure, and you need to be able to go back to the specific prompt or part of your agent that messed up internally, and you need to modify the prompt until it either reliably does not do that, or until you can check whether or not the kind of mistake that you have happened and filter it out. So yeah, super important to basically have this decomposed agentic process where you can actually inspect every subset of the execution. Yeah, operating on simplified internal representations is humongous. So, yeah, so Multion regards agentic browser agent that they raised $10 million, and now they're working on sort of state-of-the-art browser agents to sort of beat out the depth in terms of quality. They basically found a simplified representation of the browser that worked. So if you're going to feed your model some representation on which it's acting, it could be the user's computer state with photographs of the screen. It could be the HTML of the browser, which you've simplified into this simple HTML DSL. It could be the outline of the book rather than the entire text. These simplified internal representations are a really big deal for improved reliability, because often you can act on them in a reliable way where you can't on the whole thing. And it makes it easier to decide what to do. So think through some of these lessons. And then, yeah, I guess on the future, so I don't know if we'll be able to take on this today, but basically LLM training with environment in the loop, where you're constantly changing the environment as you change your agent. It's huge. In general, there's this massive paradigm shift in agents, which is covered through papers like React and Prompt Chainer and self-correction and Transformer. So think through some of these research directions if you're interested in planning and acting, in tool use, in self-correction, and prompt chaining. And finally, yeah, I guess good luck. So this is an example of our founding moment, September 2022, with a bunch of friends, folk who have created phenomenal companies. Again, you can see Kyle and myself there, Andre Karpathy, Arvid Srinivasan. So yeah, good luck with hopefully joining a fantastic community. Thank you. Okay, and with that, I will turn the mic over to the hackers. So we're going to jump into lightning talks. If you'd like me to talk, you didn't sign up, feel free to. Right now it's myself and Ishan Patel. Ishan, you cool, okay, so you'll be up next. And I'm going to keep lightning talks to like 1 minute each. So that, okay, and so I guess, who is interested in really like knowing what's true about everything that you see online as a practice? Because I guess community notes for me are that I'm always interested in the facts or the deeper sort of underlying evidence behind questions. And so what I want to ship at the end of the night is a Twitter bot that tells you the totality of evidence behind any claim on Twitter. You basically should be able to say @news of truth, and that news of truth should show up and do a perplexity style query, which is a search query over web data, over research data, which tells you whether or not the tweet that you're replying to is factual or not. Because think of it as basically community notes, but automated with search engine machine intelligence. And the thought is basically this fact-checking bot will be public, so it could catch fire and get a ton of people basically fact-checking each other on Twitter in real time. I hope you'll all be able to use it tonight. So feel free to let me know if you want to. So Ishan will be talking to us about email research agents. On deck is Steve on developer recruitment.
Hey everyone, I built a tool that allows agents to have their own inbox to receive, send, reply, forward to emails. And I want to sort of play around with that to see if you can email this bot, have it do research, and again, use email in a way to get feedback like Jeremy was talking about from you or even other people, and then use web search as well, use the LLM's internal knowledge, and then email becomes the interface to communicate this, like to make a nicely sort of formatted report back to the user. So that's my idea. If you're interested in working on it, please let me know.
Sorry, can we ask questions?
Really quickly.
Okay, later on, that's fine. Sure.
All right, Steve, you're up. All right. Developer research.
All right, I want to build an agent that helps with recruiting. So right now, most teams have a careers page, and then they hire a recruiter, and the recruiter goes on LinkedIn, and they like scroll through it a bunch, and then they like copy that to some other thing, and then they looked at the person's profile and tried to imagine what type of message might make sense to that person, and it takes a long time. And so if we want to help teams move faster, then we can help make better talent tools for them. So I'm interested in agents that help with recruiting. The MVP for this would be given a careers page, scrape it all, and then automatically search LinkedIn using some like semantic search tools that I have already. And then automatically compose messages, and then have an agent that like remembers to like check for new job descriptions, check for new profiles on LinkedIn, and to remember to follow up with people that you've been emailing. If you're interested in that, come join me.
Cool. Okay, sure.
Can I pitch my So imagine you're a multi-billionaire and you have like executive people next to you all the time giving you feedback on how to be better. I want to build that, but for not billionaires. So it reads all my journals, it watches all my meetings, it basically will run on my machine, but take anything I'm doing and then just give me blunt feedback on things I can do better. I think the bottleneck for getting better at things is getting feedback in the moment. Because if it's a to-do list, it's hard to actually act on it. And people are naturally consensus driven and don't do it very much. So that's what I'm interested in. I already have the all the materials that I want to feed into it. I just need to like wire it together and make it production so others could do it.
That is an incredible idea. Cannot believe that has not been opened yet. Okay, any other impromptu lightning talks?
I think they want to do one.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Take
it over.
Thank you.
One.
1 minute. Okay. We are now trying to build very general agents, but it's quite difficult to include output quality. So if you are good at understanding the algorithm to build nice output, please help us. So we, yeah, that's it.
Any last lightning talks? Once, twice. Okay.
Jeremy, please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, please do.
Hey everyone. So yeah, we built a library called ScreenPipe for screen recording and taking actions on your desktop computer. And for today, I want to use our library to build a LinkedIn agent. So similar to another proposal, but this time it's just going to be for myself and for people like me who want to harvest more connections on LinkedIn. So it's you basically define a prompt who you want to connect with, and it's going to go and do it like 24/7 for you, like connecting with people online.
Universal connection points.
Thank you. Hi. So we're building AI agents for the manufacturing industry to help factories repair their machines faster. So the first agent we're building is a research agent to look through all a factory's documentation, past maintenance reports, machine manuals, and help research a specific issue that they might be having so that they can fix it quicker.
Hello folks, my name is Slava. We are developing the framework that actually trying to solve the problem that you heard today about reliability of building the agents. How do you prove that something is reliable? Well, we're going to build agent that is doing the investment and actually trade with real money, and that's about it. Agent for trading, for automating reliably investing strategy. Thank you.
Gonna make some money tonight. Okay, looks like that's the last talk. So as our final act, we're all gonna get our prospective projects into the spreadsheet. Raise your hand if you are not in Slack or not in Particle. Okay, everyone is. Okay, great. So you should all have received this spreadsheet. For the next 2 minutes, we're all going to silently add our name to the spreadsheet and describe the project that we are intending. Now, this isn't a hard commit. If you want to change your project, you can. But right now, whatever you're planning on working on, please add your name and the project description. And I'm going to request total silence while everyone else is adding their projects. And please do open it up and do it now. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Okay, 60 seconds left. 60 seconds left. Can everyone find the link? It should be in both parts of one Slack, but if you can't find the link, can you raise your hand so I can get it? You can't find the link. 60 seconds left. Okay, that is time. But do feel free to contact folk who are working on ideas of interest, who are helping with Magic. Is that Magic the Gathering? Super fun. Harvesting connections based on your target audience for LinkedIn bot. Do you have your name if possible so people can find you? Sweetbench for Kubernetes. Fascinating. AI agents that can decide what your context and tools should be, which tools should be used before answering questions. Yeah, Japanese AI agents for business, LLM-based voicemails, and plausibly new projects to be. So all that said, it is 2 o'clock. So basically 6 hours of coding from here to 8. In the next 6 hours, do be incredibly productive, heads down, good luck. We have a bunch of Chinese food in the back for your lunch, so do avail yourselves of lunch. And just a few comments. So you're currently sitting on the 3rd floor of a 4-story mansion. There are 2 floors below you, both of which are available for hacking. So if you go downstairs and get comfy. Request, please do not go upstairs. Those are private bedrooms, and so hackers should stay out. But do enjoy the glorious views, and there's a bathroom in this corner, and also all the way downstairs is the bathroom. So if you need to use the bathroom, feel free. All that said, this is Agents in Production Hackathon. So your mandate is to produce an agent that can be demoed by a user at demos tonight. So it needs to be in production. That is up on a website, there needs to be a downloadable iPhone app. It needs to be something that someone other than you can demo because it's actually in production. So whether it's a Twitter bot that someone else can mention, or something like a LinkedIn tool, make sure that what you build is in production. Can't wait to see what everyone invents. Goodbye.
Also, we have food here now. There's lunch, there is Red Bull, there is cold brew, and there is water. If you need anything else, let me know. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Also, like in Start, like you want like it's like a PA, like, and you want to continue that start.
Yeah.